Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Lunch Break, episode 2. I told you guys I was going to try to start putting out some more content, so I am here for just reacting to the latest, uh, news in sports. So, of course, the big headlines. Just finished watching the Pacers and the Thunder NBA Finals Game 1. I watched this game after watching the Braves blow a game to the Arizona Diamondbacks. So let's talk about both because I actually picked the Thunder to win the finals and I expected them to win it pretty handedly, and the Braves have just let me down. So we'll start out with the finals. Always remember, like, follow, subscribe, tell a friend about Dive Team Media Network. Also, episode 193 of the Splash Cast is out now. Make sure you go over there to the Splash Cast and follow. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Dive Team Media Network, all of those things. I am speechless. Not necessarily speechless, but I am in utter shock, Sade. I am in shock. I did not expect the Indiana Pacers to win game 1. And for most of the night, the way it was going, I was kind of right. So the Indiana Pacers take on the Oklahoma City Thunder for game 1 of the NBA Finals. The Pacers win 111 to 110 on a game-winning Tyrese Haliburton shot with 0.3, leaving 0.3 seconds left on the clock, capping a 15-point fourth quarter comeback. And they steal game 1. Now, if you've been watching the NBA playoffs, especially the Eastern Conference, the whole time, this is what Indiana does. This is the fourth quarter comeback, game 1 winning comeback in the playoffs. They did it against Milwaukee, if I'm not mistaken, April 29th. They trailed Milwaukee 118-111 with 34 seconds left. They ended up winning 119-118. May 6th against Cleveland, we all saw that 119-112 with 48 seconds left. Tyrese Haliburton hits the game winner with 1.1 seconds left. He hit the game winner against Milwaukee with 1.4 seconds left. There's going to be a theme here. Indiana trails New York with 51 seconds left by 9. Tyrese Haliburton hits the game tying 2-point shot, and they win in overtime 138-135. And now this. Tyrese Haliburton hits the game-winning shot with 0.3 seconds left to cap a comeback against the best team in the league, or the team that's perceived as the best team in the league. Now, I did pick the Thunder to win this series 4-2. I'm still sticking by that pick. But I do want y'all to know that this Indiana team is technically the number 2 team in the league, right? They're not mincemeat. I think they're the second best team in the league since the All-Star break. Before the All-Star break, they weren't healthy. They're a deep team. They're a mirror image of OKC. And this was absolutely nuts. So how did we get here? Let's start about how we got here. OKC, before even the tip-off, OKC made a change in the lineup. So normally, OKC starts Isaiah Hartenstein at the 5, Chet Holmgren at the 4, or Chet Holmgren at the 5, Isaiah Hartenstein at the 4, Jalen Williams, Lou Dort, and SGA. For some odd reason, before the game even started, OKC's coaching staff decides they're going to start Cason Wallace and go small and allow Hartenstein to come off the bench. Immediately, I thought that's a bad decision. Why? Because if you look at how New York played Indiana, and Indiana got out rebounded by Cat. You would assume that OKC with Hartenstein and Chet in the game will get all the rebounds. And for the most part, even if it was just one of them at a time, they still got all the rebounds. But to me, by taking out Hartenstein and putting in Case and Wallace, you actually are playing down to Indiana. When I say playing down, you're setting up your lineup to match them versus making them adjust to you. You made the first adjustment before the tip off. That was a bad look. I didn't like that at all. As I was watching the game, it still looked like OKC was in control. I mean, they were up by 9 after the first quarter. They were up by 12 at halftime. And they were up at 9 after the third quarter and 15 in the fourth quarter with 10 minutes left. They made the Pacers commit 19 turnovers in the first half. The Pacers looked totally overwhelmed. Not only did they make them miss 19 shots. I'm sorry, not miss 19 shots, although they did miss 19 shots. When you play down and you don't play Chet and Hartenstein and you play Case and Wallace, I feel like it takes the advantage away. You had the advantage in rebounding. And one thing I did notice in this comeback in the fourth quarter, OKC decided to take out Chet and Hartenstein, and they went small. And I didn't understand that move because Pascal Siakam, even though he struggled, he was still getting to his spot. And when you don't have the bigs in the game, what I noticed in the fourth quarter during this run is that the Pacers were getting a lot more second chance points, and the Thunder were not getting as many second chance points as they were in the first half. You got to remember, or you don't have to remember, I can actually just tell you, I did not take into the account when I picked OKC that Rick Carlisle was going to coach circles around the Oklahoma City Thunder head coach. Mark Dignoot. I don't know how to say his name. Mark, around Oklahoma City's head coach, Mark D. Oklahoma City's head coach made a lot of moves that were questionable, and he just actually got out coached. And the thing is, there's so many lessons here. Like OKC, you can't play with your food, right? Like you can't. You were up, 15 points pretty much the whole game, between 10 to 15 points the whole game. But you allow Indiana to stay in the game. And one thing you can't do is allow that team to stay in the game because of how fast they play and how quickly they can score. Let's go to the box score real quick. Pascal Siakam had 19 points. He was a -10. He actually struggled. And when I say struggle, he was still 7 of 15, so he didn't really struggle. Aaron Nesmith, 10 points, but he had clutch threes. He was 3 of 7. Shout out to Obi Toppin. 17 points off the bench, plus 13, 5 of 8 threes. And the thing is, in the first half, Obi Toppin had like 4 straight possessions where he turnover, missed shot, turnover. Like OKC was frustrating him, and I was like, man, if Obi don't get it together, he's kind of like their secret weapon in this series. And it didn't work. Benedict Mathurin played, but for real, it was the starters and Obi, 6-man rotation, and everybody else played defense. Now, conversely, look at OKC. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I can tell you this 6 points right here is Chet Holmgren. 2 of 9, 6 points, 6 rebounds, 1 block. Jalen Green. I'm sorry. I mean, he played like Jalen Green in the playoffs, but Jalen Williams, 17 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, -4. Jalen was guarding Pascal, and when Jalen Williams was guarding Pascal, Pascal had a rough night. But when they switched them off, or they took Jalen out, or they made these moves in the substitutions, that's when Pascal got going. Jalen Williams missed. He went 6 of 19. Going 6 of 19 is not really the best. Let's see if I can move this over a little bit, guys. Give me 1 second. There we go. that way, we can now see. Okay. All right. So now that we have this here, we can see that Chet only has 6 points and 6 rebounds. I didn't understand that. Isaiah Hartenstein, 9 points. So you only scored 15. So that means you only had, if you combine those two, you only had 5 players in double figures. Caruso, 11 points, 3 of 8 shooting. But let me tell you, Jalen Williams, 6 of 19 in this series is not going to cut it. You got to get to the goal. Shea, I love that you had 38. You was plus 3, 38, 5, and 3. You need more assists and you need less shots. 38 points on 30 shots isn't great. And then they need somebody else to play. They need somebody else to step up. Another thing I didn't understand what OKC was doing, or at least the coaching staff. Why did they play AJ Mitchell? They literally went 11 deep. Why would you play AJ Mitchell? That didn't make sense to me unless somebody was hurt. And then you play Kenrich Williams. I think that was at the end of the game. I don't think he was. No, because the end of the game was close. And you play Kenrich Williams. I don't understand that one. You didn't shorten the rotation. And at this point, you really don't need those other two guys. You can go to a 9-man rotation with Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, Alex Caruso, and Isaiah Hartenstein, and Wiggins should be the last one off the bench. He's there for defensive prowess, right? I didn't understand what in the world they were doing. I feel like OKC kind of coached themselves out of this game. They made a lot of I said it before. I feel like they made a lot of questionable moves. Now, what you will have to do is quickly see if you can not be like the other teams and come out shell shocked in game 2. Game 2, all the pressure is on you now. Oh, one thing the Pacers can do is play free. And now OKC, everything is up to you. Miles Turner played well down the stretch. Everybody played well. It's like they took a sensu bean and everybody just played well down the stretch. Game 2 is in Oklahoma City on Sunday. They had control of the game for the most part. It's a 48-minute game. OKC has to keep their composure because the way that this team for Indiana goes, once they get some confidence and they get on a roll, look out, and you do not want to go to Indiana down 2-0. Let's talk about Tyrese Haliburton for a second. I think Tyrese Haliburton has to be in the conversation for the most cuts, especially at this year. It has to be, but for the league, he may go down as one of the best clutch players this year for sure. He's definitely the most clutch. Who won it? Jalen Brunson, I think, got most clutch during the regular season. Tyrese Haliburton was voted most overrated by his teammates. He got joked on for not scoring, not playing really in the Olympics. Feel like he got a gold medal on a group project. And now he has taken all of that personally. And he is not afraid of the big moment. Even when he has an off game tonight, he only had 14 points, was hounded most of the game. He still comes back, steps up, hits the shot. Conversely, or on the other side, SGA had a chance to push this game to 3. And he missed his patented shot. Patented fadeaway in the lane. And that opened the door. And once he missed, if you and I watching the game can kind of, you can see what's about to happen. You can feel what's about to happen. He missed it, and the Tyrese Haliburton got it. You know that it's in the back of the OKC Thunder's heads because the Pacers have done it every series. They've done it every series. So going on to game 2, if you guys don't figure it out, if you guys do not figure it out, this series could get ugly quick. And let me tell you, all of the Pacers fans that I didn't argue that I was debating with, they look good. I still got OKC in 6, but man, I sound like a Knicks fan, right? Knicks in 7, Knicks in 9. That's what I sound like, right? Real quick. Like, follow, subscribe. Let's talk about these Braves. Don't really want to talk about in depth what's going on, but I will say the Braves just blew a 6-run ninth inning lead, 10-4, and lost 11-10. They allowed 7 runs in the ninth inning. I don't know what else to do here. I feel like this may be the beginning of the end of Snicker. I don't know who Scott Blewett is. Scott Blewett, he's a 6'6" right-hander. He seems like 77 to me. You remember number 77? His name was Luke. And he always came in and just was awful. He was at Luke Jackson. He was actually awful. Scott Blewett allowing 2 home runs that get back to back that put 3 runs on the board is absolutely awful. Then our closer comes in and blows another save. This is our 4th blown save. At this point, I'm going to ask y'all a question. At this point, and y'all let me know in the comments so we can keep talking. At this point, when is it on Alex Anthopoulos? I know that he won us a championship, and he's doing well in every other position. It's almost like the Falcons with edge rushers. He's doing well in every other position. But, man, our pitching, we either get hurt or we don't make the move to get the pitcher that puts us over the top, right? The Dodgers spend endless money. Cool, whatever. But then so did the Padres. But the Braves and the Yankees, if you think about it, the Braves, we will not go out and get a bookend pitcher. And we did not re-sign Max Fried, and he's been out there playing well. If you go back a couple years, we lost Freddie Freeman. I love Matt Olson, but Freddie has had 3 of the best seasons of his career. At some point, I know Snicker's going to be the one to blame. We talked about it on the mic check for episode 193 of the Splashcast. We talked about Tuiasa Sopo getting demoted. That's crazy. Never seen that in the Braves season in my life. But at this point, the Braves are 7 games below 500. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 2, 3, 4. We are 4-11 in our last 15 games. We are now 7 games below 500. Since we got to 500, we went 7 games below. And I don't really see how we come out of this funk, because we still can't marry a game where we have good offense and good pitching. Most of the time, if we have good pitching where we allow 1 or 0 runs or 2 runs, our offense only gets us 1 run. I think we've had like 7 one-run games of less than 5 runs in the game. Or, like tonight, it's the direct opposite. It's our bats are playing well. We're up 10-2 at one point, and then we lose 11-10 because our bullpen is ass, and our bullpen has been ass for a long time. Again, at some point, Alex Anthopoulos is going to have to get the ownership to open the checkbook and go get a pitcher, go get a closer, go get a. You're gonna have to. I'm tired of Alex Anthopoulos trying to remake the bullpen with a bunch of low spades. We don't ever have like a big joker or ace of spades. We always got a bunch of low spades. It's like the Baltimore Ravens wide receivers. Like you know that if they were to go get somebody to help Lamar, like a really good receiver, or draft a really good receiver, like a number 1, then you know that they probably would have a better chance of winning the Super Bowl, or at least getting to the Super Bowl. The Braves, for some reason, we never actually go out and spend the big money to go get a big name closer or go get a big name pitcher. We do have Spencer Strider, cool, but we got to go get somebody else. At this point, we look like fools letting Max Fried walk. Tell you the truth, Freddie Freeman, I miss him, but it is what it is. But Max Fried is cooking. And at some point, ownership is going to have to hold Alex Anthopoulos to the fire, his feet to the fire. You're going to have to figure out how to get your pitching better. I think our hitting, the bats will come around. Also, this platoon in left field, don't like it. Don't like it. Gonna have to open up the checkbook, open up the pocketbook. You have our catcher Baldwin on a steal of a contract. Maybe Sean Murphy or somebody else you can dangle as trade bait. Although you normally want to keep two catchers. But man, the Braves have to figure it out. Do y'all think this is the beginning of the end for Snicker? I think it is. When you start losing like this, that means your message is falling on deaf ears. That conversation that we always have every year, that Norwood, my co-host Norwood referenced on the Splashcast, I don't think that's going to work this year. I think at this point, it may be time to cut bait. You brought back Freddie Gonzalez. It can't be him, but I don't know who our replacement would be. Who would you go get? You would have to have an interim manager. Getting an interim manager before All-Star break, 70 games into the season, is kind of wild. At least you normally get an interim manager when you're out of the playoffs. You're pretty much eliminated. You may not be mathematically eliminated, but you're trending down. If we were to make that move, it's over with. It's over with. And now we have to play San Diego. I'm sorry, not San Diego. We play San Francisco, at Milwaukee, home versus Colorado. Woo! Then we play the Mets, Miami Mets, Phillies, Baltimore. Man, we have a rough summer ahead of us. The Braves got to get it in check. Y'all think they're going to fire Snit? Y'all let me know, man. All right, y'all. That's it. 25 minutes. Make sure y'all like, follow, subscribe. This is the lunch break. Dive Team Media Network, Dive Team Media, www.splashcast.com. Follow the Splashcast, all of those great things. I will see y'all next week. Peace.